W8VPV. Repeater. W8VPV. Repeater.
Good evening, and welcome to the Colorado Falls Amateur Radio Club's Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. My name is Russ, and my call is KDA-BYT. But for this presentation of Newsline, I will be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Without further ado, this is Amateur Radio Newsline.
Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2377 with a release date of Friday, May 19th, 2023, to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is the QST. U.S. hams prep for hurricane season, getting a stubborn folding antenna to unfold in space, and an early net marks 24,000 mornings to check-in. More as Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2377 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent, weekly amateur radio news and bulletin service. Now reporting from Picayune, Mississippi, here is Don Wilbanks, AE5DW.
As Newsline winter production hams from all over the world were converging on a busy fairground in the U.S. state of Ohio for Hamvention. Be sure to listen to our newscast next Friday, May 26th, for a Hamvention wrap-up. We begin this week with what else? The weather. It's storm season in many parts of the world, and here in parts of the United States, amateurs are checking their hurricane season preparedness. We hear more about that from Randy Sly, W4XJ.
It's that time of year again, when amateurs check out their equipment and get ready for a new season of storms and storm-related activity. This is especially important for such stations as WX4NHC at the National Hurricane Center in Florida. Their annual on-the-air communications test will take place on Saturday, May 27th from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Assistant Amateur Radio Coordinator Julio Ripple, WD4R, says that the purpose of the event is to test the station's equipment and antennas as well as operators' home equipment prior to the 2023 hurricane season, which runs from June 1st through November 30th. The station will be operating on HF, VHF, and UHF, including 2 and 30-meter APRS and WinLink. Bobby Graves, KB5HAB, net manager of the Hurricane WatchNet, told AR Newsline that they will be active during that time, on or near their standard frequencies of 14.325 and 7.268 megahertz, depending on propagation. The VoIP Hurricane Net will activate that day too, from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Look for WX4NHC on the air or posted on DX Cluster. This is Randy Sly, W4XJ.
A ham who helps build enthusiasm for homebrew and other amateur radio practices in the Netherlands has become a silent key. We hear more details about him from Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
Peter Stewart, PA3EPX, was known for his enthusiasm and creative spirit within the leadership and membership of Veron, the Dutch Amateur Radio Society. Peter, who first became active in Veron at the end of the 1970s, became a silent key on the 16th of April. He was remembered by colleagues as an advocate for teaching fox hunting and for his service on the Veron board as its secretary. An avid do-it-yourselfer, he was also a proponent of homebrew equipment, and he encouraged others to build a variety of projects, including an ATV transmitter. Peter was 71. This is Jeremy Bucci for NJH.
There's antenna work, and then there's antenna work. If your antenna is a folding antenna that won't unfold, and it's out in space, you're going to need to do a little more than just climb up the tower to fix it. Graham Kemp, VK4BB, tells us what happened.
With the launch last month of the European Space Agency's JUICE mission, short for Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer, hopes were high for its antenna, which had been folded up inside the spacecraft, ready for its eventual full deployment. The 16-meter-long antenna, known as RIME, that for Radar for Icy Moons Exploration, was to completely unfold in its first week after the launch date, and it did, that is, all but one final part. According to various media accounts, a variety of remedies were tried without success until the flight control team finally freed the remaining part by delivering a shock that moved a tiny stuck pin that had left The antenna section jammed in its folded position. The shock came via a device known as a non-explosive actuator that was located inside the bracket. What happened was disruptive enough to shake things up. May 12 brought freedom as the stuck part became unstuck. Now the antenna should be ready for an even bigger challenge, the moons around the giant planet Jupiter. The mission will use the antenna to study those icy moons as far down as 9 kilometers, analyzing both the surface and subsurface. What unfolds there may possibly deliver some shocks of its own. This is Graham Kemp, BK4BB.
In the United States, an Arizona lawmaker has renewed hope for changing what many consider outdated rules by the FCC for digital communications. Phil Emby, KB3TZD, has those details.
A bandwidth limit would replace the symbol rate limit for HF digital operations under a bill known as the Amateur Radio Communications Improvement Act. The bill was introduced on May 11th by Arizona Congresswoman Debbie Lesko, a Republican, and is similar to a bill she had introduced last year, hoping to update the rules by the FCC that focus on symbol rates. The bill, which is now in the House Committee on Energy and Commerce, would set a bandwidth limit of 2.8 kilohertz instead. U.S. advocates of the bill, including the ARRL, have long argued that a bandwidth limit was necessary because of crowded conditions on the HF band. They have been concerned that protocols might be developed in the future that would possess wider bandwidth protocols than necessary. The lawmaker said in a statement that updating the rules to accommodate modern technology is especially important in times of natural disasters such as forest fires, floods, and hurricanes, when messages need to be sent and received efficiently. Faster protocols already accomplish this in other countries. This is Phil Emby, KB3TZD.
Newton Minow, who had been appointed chairman of the Federal Communications Commission by President John F. Kennedy in the 1960s, has died. The attorney, who was a vocal critic of the emerging content of broadcast television in the U.S., died Saturday, May 6th at the age of 97. He was also well known as an advocate of the U.S. space program. It was during his tenure in 1962 that the world saw NASA's launch of Telstar 1, the first communications satellite, developed by the American Telephone and Telegraph Company, better known as AT&T. A popular ham radio satellite launched a little less than 8 years ago from China has left its orbit. Stephen Kinford, NAWE, brings us that report.
Satellite enthusiasts have one fewer satellite to rely on now. The orbit has decayed for the popular linear transponder satellite known as XW-2A. The satellite was sent into space in September of 2015 from China's Taiyuan Satellite Launch Center. The satellite does not leave space without sharing a little bit of glory. In August of 2022, two amateurs used XW-2A to achieve communication over a record distance for the 25 kg microsat. It was a transatlantic QSO between EA4 and F in Spain and VE1 CWJ in Nova Scotia, a memorable distance of 4,751 kilometers. This is Stephen Kinford, NAWB.
Hams, start your engine. A big race and a big special event station is getting underway in Indianapolis, Indiana. Jack Parker, W8ISH, has the details.
Now that the dust has settled from the Indy Grand Prix race, members of the W9IMS Special Event Station are gearing up for another week of logging contacts leading up to the 107th running of the Indianapolis 500-mile race beginning May 22nd. This is the 20th year for the W9IMS team to reach out and let ham radio operators be a part of the racing season in Indianapolis. For 2 decades, they have logged over 15,000 contacts a year for the 3-race series at Indy. That is a lot of QSL cards. Check the W9IMS page at QSL.com for more information. Reporting from Indianapolis, this is Jack Parker, W8ISH.
If a great QSO feels like poetry to you, you might enjoy this new challenge from Amateur Radio Newsline. We're inviting listeners to channel their most creative selves and share the joy of ham radio in the form of a haiku. On our website, arnewsline.org, you'll find a submission form for sending your most inspired offering. All haikus must follow the traditional form to qualify. The first line is 5 syllables. The second line is 7 syllables, and the finishing third line has another 5 syllables. Our team will pick from the best submissions that follow the 5-7-5 syllable rule and represent the love of amateur radio. Your prize? Glory, of course. We'll share our favorite haiku of the week on the Amateur Radio Newsline website. It's time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the AH6LE repeater on Sundays at 6 p.m. in Beaver Creek and Wilsonville, Oregon. who shows promise in the organization's leadership, consider nominating them for a spot on the board of directors. 4 incumbent seats will soon expire, and voting will be held the third quarter of this year. Terms are for 2 years. As many as 2 alternate directors may be chosen to serve 1-year terms. For nominations to be considered, they must be in writing and should be submitted by either 1-member society or 5 individual members who are in good standing. The nominee's name, call sign, and contact information should be provided, along with the same information for those individuals submitting the candidate. Email nominations are acceptable when sent to jdavis@amsat.org. Otherwise, postal mail may be used. Send to Jeff Davis, KE9VPO, Post Office Box 11, Yorktown, Indiana 47396. The nomination deadline is the end of the day on June 15th. The 4 incumbents leaving behind vacancies are Jerry Buxton, N0JY, Joseph Armbruster, KJ4JIO, Robert Bankston, KE4AL, and Zach Metzinger, N0ZGO. If you're still feeling festive after the coronation of King Charles and Queen Camilla, Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, offers some ways to keep celebrating.
Coronation weekend has come and gone in the UK, but the Radio Society of Great Britain believes in keeping a good moment alive. Special event call signs are still on the air through to the end of June. Individual radio amateurs and clubs are eligible to use the GB23C call sign, which was first used by the Cray Valley Radio Society, which activated it in Greenwich. Information on how to obtain and use the call is on the RSGB website. Hams are also being encouraged to use one of hundreds of call signs Ofcom is making available to celebrate the historic fire beacon network throughout the UK. Call signs such as GB23BIR was activated by the Finesse Amateur Radio Society, and according to RSGB District Representative Martin, M0TEB, it was quite popular as a contact. Visit rsgb.org/coronation for other details and to find out more about getting a Coronation QSL card or one of 3 RSGB Coronation Awards. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
Ever had a QSO with a vampire? It's not so hard as you might think. Richard, VK2SKY, brings us this story about an Australian warship that makes it possible.
G'day, Amateur Radio Newsline listeners. This is Richard, VK2SKY, in Sydney, Australia, with a little vampire story for you. Yes, I know, Halloween is months away, but I think you'll like the story anyway. A team of amateurs, led by Colin, VK2JCC, has set up shop in the radio room aboard HMAS Vampire. HMAS stands for His Majesty's Australian Ship, and the Vampire is located at the Australian National Maritime Museum here in Sydney. The radio room is part of the museum and thus open for visitors to learn about the importance of radio communications, both in wartime and in peace. The Vampire team has been active for a few weeks now, using the call sign Victor Kilo 2 Victor Mike Papa. VMP. Vampire, get it? If you've never worked a warship before, now is a great time to start. So far, 8 amateurs are on the roster to keep the Vampire on the air using CW and sideband on 20 and 40 meters, and the station is now a permanent fixture on the ship. But wait, there's more. Over the weekend of the 3rd and 4th of June, the Vampire will be active for 24 hours for a special event, Museum Ships on the Air. You'll find the station on or near 14.250 megahertz. Vampire will join many other ships around the world for this fun event. So listen out for Victor Kilo 2 Victor Mike Papa on board HMAS Vampire in Sydney, Australia. And check out the VK2 VMP page on QRZ.com. Hope to catch you on the air.
We remind our listeners that you still have an opportunity to nominate a promising young radio amateur, but time runs out at the end of this month. Young hams who live in the continental United States have an opportunity to make news of their own in the world, if they aren't already doing so, by being a recipient of this year's Amateur Radio Newsline Bill Pasternak Memorial Young Ham of the Year Award. Think of an amateur radio operator 18 years of age or younger, someone who has talent, promise, and a commitment to the spirit of ham radio. This is your chance to help honor and acknowledge that person who will, no doubt, go on to teach and inspire others. Find the nomination form on our website, arnewsline.org, under the Awards tab. Nominations close on May 31st. In the world of DX, be listening for special event station GB0AEL, which is on the air until May 26th. Hams with the Northwest Group Amateur Radio Club are marking the anniversary of Amelia Earhart's transatlantic flight. In May of 1932, she became the first woman to make that trip solo and non-stop, departing from Canada and landing 15 hours later in Londonderry, Northern Ireland. QSL instructions are on QRZ.com. Listen for Vincent, HB9VCJ, using the call sign 8Q7VJ from the Maldives, IOTA number AS013, from May 20th through to June 4th. His QRP operation will be SSB and various digital modes on 40 through 6 meters and FM on 10 meters. QSL instructions are on QRZ.com. Ivan, YT4RA, stroke IV3CTS, and his brother Goran, YT7AW, stroke SA7DXR, will be operating from Malta, IOTA number EU023, from the 24th to the 29th of May, with their biggest activity to be during the CQ Worldwide WPX CW contest. They plan to use the call sign 9 Hotel 6 Whiskey Papa X-Ray, QSL via Logbook of the World. Be listening for T41DX on the island of Cuba, IOTA number NA015, from May 18th through to the 22nd. The Guani DX group will be operating CW, SSB, and various digital modes on 80 through 10 meters. The QSL manager is RW6HS. And we end this week with an installment from our occasional series, Nets of Note. We revisit a very proud group of early morning radio enthusiasts who Newsline first interviewed back in 2017. Jim Dameron in ATMW tells us why they're so proud right now.
The early risers who've been meeting on 80 meters at 6 a.m. local time since 1957 are about to celebrate a milestone, and this isn't exactly chicken feed. The Rooster Net, as the group is known, will be marking 24,000 daily sessions on the air on May 26th. The check-ins, that's check-ins, not chickens, can expect to get pretty lively that day on 3.990 megahertz. The Rooster roster claims amateurs from as far north as Canada, as far south sometimes as South America, and as far west as Arizona and Montana. So congratulations to these hams who leave the nest early to get up with the sun and with one another. That's something to crow about. This is Jim Dameron in ATMW.
Do you have a piece of amateur radio news that you think Newsline would be interested in? We're not talking about advertising your club's upcoming Hamfest or field day participation, but something that is out of the ordinary. If so, send us a brief overview via the contact page at arnewsline.org. If it's newsworthy and we would like to cover it, we'll get back to you for more details. With thanks to Amateur News Weekly, the American Cancer Society, AMSAT News Service, ARRL, Australian National Maritime Museum, CAMSAT, CQ Magazine, David Behar, KE7DB, DXWorld.net, 425DX News, Gardner News, IARU Region 3, QRZ.com, Manly Warringah Radio Society, National Public Radio, Radio Society of Great Britain, shortwaveradio.de, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer nonprofit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW, in Picayune, Mississippi, saying 7-3. And as always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2023, all rights are reserved.
Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. Net to start in about 10 minutes.
but hey, what the heck? It's an amplifier, right? So that was good. So I'm glad I went there and saw some of the vintage stuff and took plenty of pictures and everything else. So, and some more highlights of the my trip here back to Ohio. I got to go out with my sister's dog and walk the dog. Lola is 80% blind and 80% deaf. But she got around. She got around okay and everything, and took her on a short walk, and that was kind of a good part. And then my son let me come over to his house, and I brought my own laser so I could play laser tag with his cats. We don't have any cats anymore, but and unfortunately one of his cats just died 2 days ago. She was very, very, very old, and she was going downhill. It was sad to see her, but I got to say goodbye the other day, and I kind of figured she'd be going. So her and one of their cats was really, really into the laser tag. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Back to Net Control, Whiskey 8 Victor Mike, and the group. Here is KE8N. And oh, by the way, Elaine, if you're still listening, we miss you and everything. And I think maybe you were one and done. But anyhow, just thought I'd say hello. Here's KE8NN Mobile standing by.
KE8NN, W8 Victor Mike. Well, we have two cats, and they both like the laser pointer. And we have one that will sit in the corner and meow until you get the thing out. And then the minute you get it out and start playing with it, she leaves and goes about her business, does something else. She doesn't want to play with it, but she wants you to get it out in case she does. And it's a habitual thing with her. I mean, you'll get the thing out, and then she just puts that tail up and just sashays it around and just plain walks away like, okay, I won. Okay, moving right along. Let's go to Bill. K2WJS, W8 Victor Mike.
K2WJS here. Good to hear everybody tonight. Hey, Mike, just remember, it's a dry heat, so it's okay. That's what my sister used to tell me when she lived in Phoenix. And the first time I walked out to a parking lot and put my hands on the steering wheel, we had a business meeting in Tucson and drove up to Phoenix, and I got second-degree burns on my steering wheel. I couldn't tell you how thrilled I was that it was a dry heat. I didn't go to Dayton this weekend. I sort of simulated the experience. I had to go down to DX Engineering and get a new tuner for POTA. While I was there, I ended up buying some things that I wasn't planning on buying and probably could have lived without, including a new microphone. So it was a long ride, but not as far as it would have been to Xenia, and I ended up spending money on stuff I didn't really need and probably shouldn't have bought anyway. So the weekend was a success. I'm going to do one and done today. Everybody have a good weekend. K2WJS.
K2WJS, W8 Victor Mike. Well, that's what I call really getting into the spirit of the Hamfest, Bill. Going out and buying a couple things that you didn't need but you could always use. Okay, moving right along, let's go to Melba, VA3PLO, W8 Victor Mike.
Thank you there, W8VM. This is VA3PLO. Good evening, all. And welcome to our Canadian holiday, Victoria Day here. So, I know next Monday is your Memorial Day, but I'll celebrate it with you guys next Monday, but you guys can join me tonight with Victoria Day. Anyways, we're not doing too bad. It's been a nice day around here. Last couple of days, got out and did some planting of some flowers in the garden and some weeding, and had all the traffic going up and down the road, the boats and the campers and the motorhomes, and if they weren't going points south or north, they were going south to Dayton. So We had 3 or 4 people that we knew of that went, so you probably might have even seen them around. But other than that, things are good. We're just waiting on some supper to finish cooking here, so I guess I'm going to be a one and done tonight. So everybody have a great week. We'll catch up to you next Monday on your holiday, and stay safe and enjoy your weekend next weekend. So we'll catch up to you then. Take care, guys. Back to W8VM from VA3PLO.
VA3PLO, W8 Victor Mike. Melba, did I hear you say you're one and done?
That is correct.
Okay, want to make no mistakes tonight. I'm glad I got that. Okay, thanks for checking in, and say hi to Bob. Now we'll go to Bill, N8WS, W8 Victor Mike.
Monday night VHF UHF net. My name is Frank. My call is W8ECT, but for the purposes of this net, I'll be using the club call, Whiskey 8, Victor Papa Victor.
W8VPV. Repeater. PL110.9.
This is an open directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchanging of amateur-related ideas and information, to enhance net operating practices, and to keep members up to date about club happenings. This net meets here every Monday evening at 8:30 p.m. local time, preceded by Amateur Radio Newsline at 8:01. We'll start with some announcements, and then put out a question tonight, and then ask for check-ins from any officer or member who has an announcement of general interest to the club. Once that's complete, we'll take member check-ins, or any check-ins for that matter, 5 at a time, confirming with the call sign before moving on to the next. We'll work those 5 check-ins and then repeat. If you're a regular participant, I'll probably recognize you by call sign. If not, please give me your call, repeat it phonetically, followed by your name and location. When all the check-ins have been worked, I'll repeat the announcements, ask for any final check-ins, close the net, and I'd like to remind everybody that we also operate an HF plus 6 band exploration net starting at 9:30 p.m. tonight. I will be net control, and this week it'll be an 80-meter net on 3.827 or thereabouts. I got to listen around and find an open station. So at this point, are there any officers or trust? Well, let me go through the announcements I have and see if anybody can add anything. All right, this coming Wednesday, May 24th, is our activity meeting. That's at 7:30 at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ on 2nd and Broad Boulevard in Cuyahoga Falls. It'll be a Zoom presentation of the Voice of America Museum and WC8 Voice of America Amateur Radio Station. It should be interesting. Unfortunately, VOA stations are pretty much off the air these days. I remember listening to them as a kid on my shortwave receiver, so another sign of changes coming up there. The following Wednesday, May 31st, is a field day planning meeting. That'll be a Zoom meeting, 7 p.m. We are emphasizing GOTA this year, and we'll have more on field day signups here in just a minute or so, but we're emphasizing the GOTA station because the rules have changed and it's very exciting, and we can make lots of points getting lots of non-hams and inactive hams on the air, so we're going to stress that this year. Wednesday, June 14th, we've got our elections. We've had 2 months of nominations now, and we're up to the final elections. I believe there's only one contested seat, and that's a trustee seat, so we'll have more about that perhaps from one of the trustees. And that will also be the last in-person get-together before Field Day itself. So we'll have lots of news and ideas about Field Day, and by then we should have a very good picture of what we're doing. Of course, the weekend of June 24th, 25th is Field Day weekend. If you have any desire at all to participate or any interest, please mark it on your calendar now so you don't schedule something else on top of it. We're hoping we'll have enough people to get operate 4A or 5A, and we do want to operate a GOTA station and get as many new people through there
possible. There is a sign-up on the club website to volunteer for field day, so by all means, we'll check that out. Again, we'll have more information on that. The June activity meeting, which is after field day on Wednesday, June 28th, Maria Kostic, YU3 AWA, I believe, of Serbia, is the Vatican City operator, and she will be doing a presentation on that. And of course, Vatican City is its own country. That'll of course be a Zoom presentation. And as I mentioned earlier, we have the band exploration net coming up at 8 p.m. I'm sorry, on 80 meters at 9:30 p.m. Somewhere around 3.827 megahertz or thereabouts. All right, that's all I've got for announcements. Do we have any members or officers or anybody else with announcements of general interest?
K8ZT.
Right, Anthony, I've got you. I'll come right back to you. Anybody else? Right, Anthony, go ahead.
First of all, before I forget, next Monday is a 5th Monday of the month, so that means special band Explorer Net. And we're going to try out a new band that we've not done before. That is 12 meters. It'll be 24.972 approximately. That's the first item. Second item is you should have received an email this afternoon, actually this evening. If you did not receive an email and you are a club member, please let me know at k8zt@cfarc.org, and I will take care of that. But in that email, you'll also see that there's a lot of activities coming up in the next few weeks, including a couple Hamfest and a number of contests that you might want to take part in. This weekend is a CW contest, the CQWPX CW, but coming up in the following week is a QSO party in West Virginia, and then after that is the AWL VHF contest, which is a great chance for technicians to get on the air and make a lot of contacts. So that's coming up. And then, of course, the Butler Hamfest on June 4th also coming up. This is KZT.
All right, very good, Anthony. And don't go anywhere. I've got you checked in. And as people do check in, if you were down to the Dayton Hamvention this weekend, I would appreciate a quick narrative of what you saw, what you experienced. Did you get that really important goodie you were looking for, and what your overall experience was? This is the 4th year in a row that I have missed Dayton, and I am really going through withdrawal. So, Anthony, you're welcome to come back. I know you were down there, and give us some input on your experience.
Crazy week, and it was a lot of fun. Wednesday night we went down. Thursday I presented 2 presentations at Contest University before the Hamvention, and then on Friday, the Antenna Forum on Friday afternoon I presented at. After that, I had time to go actually do some shopping. Great new radio out from QRP Labs called the QMX. For those of you that are familiar with Hans's radios, the QCX and the QDX, this is a combination. It's a CW and digital radio that covers 80 through 20, fits in the palm of your hand, under $100 kit. So lots of fun things. It has a built-in sound card, so you can just work digital with it without having anything extra. That was probably one of the highlights. I have mine on order. It should be here maybe soon. Hopefully we'll see. And I just met a ton of people, so I had a great time. And if you haven't been to Dayton before, even if you just get down for the one day on the bus, you need to make the trip. This is KZT.
Very good, Anthony. Thanks very much. Appreciate that update, then. All right, do we have any other important announcements from officers, club members, or anybody else out there?
WO3X.
Go ahead, John.
Yes, regarding the band exploration net, next Monday, I've been announcing on the nets and elsewhere that we will be having it on 17 meters on 18.127 megahertz. And I think we did 12 meters in October of last year on a 5th Monday. So, and then later, another 5th Monday, we did 160 meters. Let's see. And so, regarding the trustee, after the standard election, there will be one trustee candidate not elected, and that candidate will have the option of accepting the fill-in for the finish the term trustee, or decline, and then we will choose another candidate for that trustee position. With that, that's according to the bylaws. With that, back to the net. This is WO3X.
All right, thank you very much, John. Again, just to clarify, I was a little confused in what I was hearing, so my understanding is we will have the elections next week. There is a trustee position with at least two candidates up for election, and one of those will be chosen. An existing trustee has announced he is stepping down for personal reasons, and so after the election, we will then open it up to nominations for another election for a trustee candidate to fill in the trustee's position who has just resigned. And if there is more than one person nominated for that, we will have a second election right then and there. Is that what you understand, John?
Yes, and the trustee candidate that did not win the election can be nominated and has the option of declining. So that it doesn't mean that if that candidate lost the general election there that he has to be a candidate for the replacement trustee. And also, did you get the entry tickets yet?
Yes, I did. I texted you a picture of them a couple of days ago with a text, looky what I got. So I will bring those. And yes, this not to any way imply that the trustee that was not elected during the first election certainly can run as a fill-in trustee along with anybody else who's nominated. So, and that will occur if second election will occur if we have one or more. Sorry to beat this to death, but it's I want to make sure we get the word out so we have good attendance at that meeting. Anything else, John?
Yeah, we have to have a quorum. Yeah, of course. So sorry about the confusion on the fifth Monday band expiration net, and it's been announced on the Aries net and various other places that it's going to be 18.127 megahertz upper sideband. Plus or minus QRM, of course.
Okay, let me go ahead and check the calendar while we're taking more check-ins here. Yeah, not a problem at all. And let me go back here to Monday and see. Band exploration net right now it's showing 24.972 megahertz. So, Anthony, are you out there, KZT?
I have just changed it. It should switch over to 17 meters. I'm sorry about that. I got confused. So it will be 17 meters. 18, and I did not get the frequency. So I have 17 meters on the calendar, but I don't have the frequency. So if you want to give that again, John, KCT.
18.127 megahertz upper sideband. This is WO3X.
All right, thank you, John and Anthony, for taking care of that. I think we've got that cleared out now. And again, the band expiration net is for those of you who have the equipment, antennas, and privileges to exercise your equipment. Excuse me. To exercise your equipment, make sure everything is still working on that frequency. All right, let's see here. I've got Anthony checked in and asked him about Dayton. John, were you at Dayton by any chance? And do you have anything to add?
recall the last time I went, and I recall that it was with I drove with my 1994 Buick Park Avenue, which I had bought in October 2004. So it could not have been any earlier than May of 2005. And I think that was when I went, May 2005. And I attended a few other times years before that, and always had a good time there. And one year I got a 10-Tech Omni 6 Plus, and another year I got some other things. My 13B2 I got one year, along with a 15-inch speaker that dual voice cord, and I have that to this day in service in a speaker enclosure, and it's a very good speaker. So with that, back to the net. This is WO3X.
All right, very good, John. And all right, if anybody else out there during check-ins was at Dayton this year, by all means, I'd like a quick summary of what you did, what you got, how you had a good time, and everything like that. So, all right, you got Anthony and John in there. I assume there are no more check-ins of general interest, so let me go ahead and take 5 in a row, and then we'll get back to you and work you. Go ahead for first check-in.
8OQP, X-Ray Oscar. 8OQP.
Okay, Pat, I got Vince, and there was another station in there.
WA3JAT.
I got Jim, WA3JAT.
Number 8 Alpha Charlie Papa, and 8ACP Chris in Akron.
That's you, Chris. One more.
Uniform India Bravo, KAQIB, John in Akron, in and out to the east, 730 off.
All right, Don, I got you in and out. Thanks for the check-in. One more.
AB8OU, in and out, one for the numbers.
All right, I got you, Zeke, and I heard Bill in there, in and out. So let me go back up to the top, and let me pick up Pat and 8OQP. Go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. Don't really have a whole lot tonight. Just want you to remember that we do have the officer elections coming up. And next Wednesday, a week from Wednesday, we will have another field day meeting. We need to get on the stick with the field day stuff if we're going to do it. And please, 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 please remember that the website has the volunteer sign up there. There's a banner at the top. All you got to do is click on it, and it'll take you where you need to go. As far as the meeting this coming Wednesday, I'm hoping to be there, but there's some other stuff that's surrounding this, so there's a shot that I may not be, but if anything, I'll be in Zoom. But I think that's about it, Frank. I'll go ahead and turn it back to your very capable hands, and we'll hopefully see everybody Wednesday evening. 8OQP, back to net.
Very good, Pat. I'm working on the EchoLink project, and I'm at the point where I need the sound card now, so the software can find and install those drivers. So if you are going to make it, please remember to bring that sound card dongle, and if not, I'll need to figure out some way to get that, or we'll go on and buy another one. They're not that expensive, but I do remember you had offered it as a donation, so that works fine. And very good then, Pat. We got you. Let's see here. Next up, Vince, AC8XO. Go ahead.
One last quick comment.
Go ahead, Pat. Stand by, Vince.
Anybody else on the net? This is Vince, AC8XO, your newsletter editor. If you've got stories from Hamvention, I will be more than happy to throw them into the newsletter. Other than that, I ain't got a whole hell of a lot there, Frank. It's just another quiet week in Silver Lake. Anyway, AC8XO, back to net.
All right, very good, Vince. I'm assuming you weren't at Dayton, so we'll go back to Pat, who had one addition.
Frank, there's no bother to no need to bother to just buy another one. I've got two of them here, so I don't need. Just figure it's a donation. Anyway, back to Ned. I'll get it to you somehow or other. And I don't QP.
All right, very good, Pat. Let's see here. Next up, Jim, WA3JAT. Go ahead, sir.
Nice job on the announcements, Frank. Put another plug in for our speaker on Wednesday, NAIBA, Bill Moulter. He was down at Dayton, and although I didn't get to meet him personally there, Anthony, I believe, did. Also mentioned I did meet one of our past presenters there, KI5SXY, the Rocket Lady, Rocket Girl, I guess, goes by not Rocket Lady, she's not really all that old. Anyway, I did meet her in person, she was at the ARRL table.
Good, Jim, you're way down in the noise, barely able to pick you up. Can you relocate to a higher elevation, maybe kick the power up a little bit?
Present time, but always fun to see what's new and also run into a lot of interesting people. Back to that W8VPV, WA3JAT.
Jim, you were just barely above the noise on all of that. Do you have a higher power or a better antenna you can try?
Negative.
Okay, all we heard was Rocket Lady. I'm assuming you met her down there then, and just a lot of noise on there. So we got you checked in, appreciate it, and it sounds like you had a good time. All right, next up, Chris, NAACP.
Yeah, good evening there to Net Control and all on the net. Just want to remind everybody about the 2023 Museum Ships on the Air weekend. That event is going to be happening on June 3rd and 4th, and from 00:00 Zulu time, June 3rd, to 23:59 Zulu time, June 4th. And there are currently 91 ships worldwide participating. One of those ships, or a boat more appropriately, is going to be the USS Cod. There's a number of Northeast Ohio amateur radio operators, and we will be activating the historic USS Cod on Lake Erie. It will be aboard the boat in the radio room using the original 40-meter end-fed ZEP aerial in the call sign Whiskey 8 Cod, operating single sideband and CW modes, mainly in the general portions of the band. So all stations that work at least 15 different ships of those participating will receive a certificate if they send a copy of their log entry showing these contacts. For more information, you can go to November Juliet 2 Bravo Bravo.org/museum. That's November Juliet 2 Bravo Bravo.org/museum. And we've got a dad and his two young sons that will be operating from that ship. And I'm not sure which one is more excited to activate that boat, myself or his 8-year-old son. So they're great folks. So if you hear us on the air, we'd love to work you. Back to Net Control, Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor from November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa 73.
Very good, Chris. Appreciate that. Many years ago, I did have a chance to tour the Cod before it was taken out and repaired. They did some work on it a couple of years ago, and I got to hand it to the soul of the sailors that spent time in any submarine during World War II. I'm not a claustrophobic person, but after a couple of weeks bottled up in something like that, I'd be bouncing off the hull. But very good, Chris. I'll put it on my calendar here and see if I can work you guys and some of the other ships in. Let's see, Don was in and out. Next up, Zeke, AB8OU. Go ahead.
AB8OU. Good evening, Frank and everyone. Not much here. Missed going to Dayton. Made a few contacts in the Arkansas QSO party, and that was my weekend. Anyway, I'm in my bi-weekly Zoom meeting, so I'll make this real brief. Everyone have a good week. AB8OU.
All right, Zeke, appreciate it. Thanks, and hopefully we'll catch you on the band exploration net tonight, 80 meters. All right, I'm at the bottom of my list looking for 5 check-ins. Come now.
WA4WGA.
All right, got you right next.
MS.
Steve, got you next.
K8PU. This is K8BI.
Right, I got Larry, K8PU, and Bill, N8BI. Next.
KEAYDT, Kilo Echo 8 Yankee Delta Tango, Brian and Akron, in and out.
All right, I got you, Brian, in and out. Appreciate the numbers there. Another one, please.
NHBAY, November 8 Bravo Alpha Yankee, Ralph and Stowe, in and out.
All right, good hearing you there, Ralph. Don't be a stranger. There's somebody here every Monday night running this net, so appreciate the check-in there. Got you in and out. Another one, please. WB8CXO, Mike, and I know he was in Dayton, so I want to hear that. All right, let me run back up to the top here. WA4WGA, go ahead.
Oh, good day, Frank, and the assembled multitudes from WA4WGA, coming to you live from the old folk home inside the metropolis of Talmadge. In fact, before I got here, I never knew how thriving it was. Anyway, it looks like I may have a proper mobile antenna up out here before it's all said and done. I've still got my Larson dual band mobile, and Mike KD8IUA is going to try to get it up outside here, so we'll get that. I won't be able to put a proper radio in here, so I'll have the Dexcom HT as a primary and the ICOM as a secondary. And what else, Mike? I've been looking for you on 442.7 off and on, and not hearing you. But hope springs eternal. And Frank, I'd like to try to get field day this year, but there'll have to be various logistical arrangements made, since I now sport a chair with 2 wheels, so I'd need additional logistical support there, but we'll see if we can make that happen when the time comes. Other than that, that's it from the old folk home. Back to you, sir.
Repeater, timeout. You, time, repeater, out.
You timed your repeater out, but it was right on the end just as you were beginning to sign, so nothing relevant missed there. You are booming into the repeater. I might even suggest backing off on the mic a little bit. You've got a very good voice, radio voice to begin with, and you were almost over-modulating, but good audio signal, good RF, certainly absolutely no noise in there, so whatever you got up and running right now is doing a good job. All right, thank you very much, Ray. Next up, K8HMS Steve, who is coming at us from the 440 side. Go ahead.
Down here, just
Boy, I'll tell you, your signal is way down tonight, Steve. You were in and out of the repeater and breaking up. I don't know if you got an antenna issue, or you can put a little bit more power into it, or you might try the 2-meter side. But we couldn't really copy you tonight.
Are they still going at it on UHF?
All right, didn't hear anything. I just heard quiet carrier there. No audio at all. Was that you, Steve?
You have a copy on me now, Frank?
A little bit better. I heard the question. So, yeah, somebody had a solid carrier on there for a minute, but we're good. We got you in there. Anything for the net, and did you make Dayton this year?
Yeah, how about this? I'm on the 2-meter side. Is that any better?
Yeah, we got you and the dog in there. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, the 2-meter side always throws off the smoke alarm for some reason. But yeah, just real quick, nothing much been going on, just been doing a lot of yard work and trying to make our new fence look better. And if anybody's looking for a boat, I haven't had a chance to get the boat out, but I'm putting it up for sale this year, my 24-foot cabin cruiser. And being a ham 66 years, never been to Dayton. I guess that's a bad thing on my part. And I do have a couple things for you, Frank. I'll try to get the meeting Wednesday to give them to you, and if not, I'll hook up with you. Hope you got all that, Kate HMS.
Loud and clear, Steve. Thanks very much. Appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you Wednesday if you can make it. All right, next up, Larry, KPU.
Good evening, Frank. Everybody on the net? No, just nothing going on here. Just enjoying the weather. Glad winter's finally gone. And I can't do 80. I took my antenna down a couple years ago. It kind of got weather beaten. So I can't do 80. I'll have to pass on the other net. And look forward to seeing everybody Wednesday evening. And, of course, the elections, field day, and everything coming up, I guess we'll be kind of busy, and that's what it's all about. So, anyways, back to you, Frank. Everybody, I hope everybody's had a good week here, and look forward to many more. And out the weather's nice. So, WVPV, KPU.
Good, Larry. Well, I understand having to take antennas down. It's happening a lot these days, but have a good one, and certainly hope to see you one of these days soon. Next up, Bill, NABI.
Well, that's actually KAPI, but I'll take it. Yeah, good evening, everybody. Hope everyone had a good week last week, and I hope this week brings a good new week for everybody. And yeah, my Dayton story is there isn't much story. I went to the Hamvention, and as far as flea market and vendor stuff, I only bought a coaxial cable connector crimper and a set of nut drivers and a couple little BNC adapters that a guy had for $1 each in a box. So I got out of there pretty unscathed. Didn't drop too much coin down there. Anyways, we'll catch everyone later. Have a great week. WVPV, this is KACI.
Very good, Bill. I'm afraid if I would have gone, I would have come back with more stuff than I needed, like I always do, and I'm trying to unload stuff so I can build a house, and so that was going the wrong direction. However, by next year, I certainly hope to be back down there again. All right, a couple of in and outs. Next up, Mike, WBHCXL. Yes, a little bit on the high end in terms of tone. That is lack of bass, but clearly listenable and easy to hear. Go ahead.
Sound like you're on a telephone.
Mike. As you said, yeah, it's ham radio's fun, but it's the people you meet there and the memories you go through that really make it. And it's been 4 years, as I said, and I've missed it, and I'm not going to let 5 years go. I got a call from a friend down there saying, "Where are you? I'm down here," and I had to admit that I wasn't there, and I got to call him back and talk anyway, but very frustrating. Alrighty, thanks, Mike. I'm at the bottom of the page. This is the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night VHF UHF net. We're now looking for 5 check-ins. Please call now.
Kilo Delta 2, Hotel Charlie Echo, Chris and Medina, in and out.
Okay, KD2, Hotel Charlie Echo, you're in and out. What was the name again, please?
Personals Chris, Charlie Hotel, Romeo India Sierra.
Very good, Chris. Appreciate the numbers. If you're a resident in the area, this net meets here every Monday evening, hosted by somebody, and don't be a stranger. We appreciate the check-in, then. All right, looking for 5 more check-ins. Go ahead now.
Whiskey 8, Victor, Papa Victor. This is Kilo Echo 8, Victor, Quebec X-Ray, KE8, VQX, Joe in Akron.
All right, Joe, looks like I'm running out of check-ins, so we'll take them one at a time as they go. Anything for the net, and did you make it down to the Dayton Hamvention this year?
Whiskey 8, Victor, Papa Victor. This is KE8, VQX. Yes, I did, Frank. It was a good time. First time I've ever been there. Picked up a few things, and saw Anthony a couple of times down there, so that was kind of cool. Yeah, I think I'm going to head down there next year. Got to hook up with a very old friend who was a ham from way back, and he's suddenly back into the hobby. So, yeah, that was fun. So, W8VPV, this is KE8VQX. Back to net control, Frank.
Very good, Joe. As I might have mentioned earlier, I've been going there off and on since the actually late 60s when my dad took me down there. It has changed, it has grown, it has moved venue, but the people are still the same, just a great group of people, and yeah, it's such a well-known and well-attended event that you meet people you may have worked literally around the world, and you get a chance to meet them in person, shake their hands. Lots of educational sessions inside, seminars, of course, vendor presentations, and just an infinite supply of flea market stuff, everything you would ever want. So, heck of an event, and well, good luck, and hope you make it down there again next year. All right, this is W8VPV, the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club, Monday evening VHF UHF net. Looking for check-ins. We'll take you one at a time now. Okay, a lot of noise, but no discernible information. Maybe it was a double. Try it again. Okay, definitely a double there. One person, I know, we'll sort it out eventually. Give it a try. Okay, somebody try it.
Yeah, Frank, you definitely had a double there.
Okay, I heard that. Definitely had a double there. Was that somebody one of the people trying to get in?
Yes, it was.
Okay, give me the call sign, please.
No, that was Ray talking. This is WO3X.
Okay, Ray, I didn't recognize your voice. Use the call sign, please. All right, I'm looking for the 2 people trying to check in. Definitely a double, so give it a try again. We'll eventually sort this out.
BSA.
All right, that's Keith, Keith, WA8BSA. Other station, go ahead.
KA8WTK.
Ah, Bill, KA8WTK. We'll get right back to you, Bill. Go ahead, Keith.
Good evening, this is KA8BSA. Not a whole lot to add. I'm hoping to get out to Camp Manitowoc Saturday
and maybe put WD8BSA on the air, and either on phone or FT8, make some more contacts for the shack. Back to you, Frank.
Very good, Keith. I'm assuming you didn't get a chance to get down to Dayton this year?
No, I did not. Last weekend, my son was competing in the state finals for esports, and his high school came in 4th place for the state.
Well, congratulations there, and yeah, this is a hobby, that's family, and that takes precedence, so that was the correct choice. Very good, Keith. Appreciate the check-ins. We'll catch you Wednesday. Bill, KA8WTK, go ahead.
Good evening, Frank, and everybody on the net. Haven't been around for the last 2 Mondays. Wife and I took about a 10-day trip down to Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, and then back up to Williamsburg, little anniversary trip. And I did try to work some radio time down there with the 817. I don't think I'm ever going to try it again from the center of a campground that's full of RVs and trailers that have little battery chargers running in them. The noise prohibited me hearing absolutely anything. It was an amazing amount of QRM. But break for time. Not get down to Dayton, but I did get a Dayton report. My nephew from Boise, Idaho, was in town, and he had gone down to Dayton and was here on Saturday for about 8 hours. We just yacked because I don't get to see him very often, and he was very impressed with Dayton. He said he loved all the booze and everything, and he picked up some stuff down there and had a really good time. So one of these days, I'm going to get down to the new location. I haven't been down to the new location yet. Back to net. W8VPV, KA8WTK.
Very good, Bill. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but all of the inverters and chargers and, well, even you discovered you had a little LED light in your trailer, and when you flipped it on, it produced enough RF to freeze the TV. I remember exploring that with a spectrum analyzer. Hadn't thought about that, but yeah, that's a good point. Middle of an RV park is probably not where you want to set up your antenna and make DX contacts. I'll file that away for future reference. Thanks, Bill. Appreciate the check-in, and let me see. I'm at the bottom of my list here. We're taking people 1 or 2 at a time, so do we have any other check-ins for the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night VHF UHF net?
KE8 KVI.
KE8 KVI. Go ahead, Ron. We're taking them 1 at a time now.
Hey, Frank, everybody out there in the radio land, I hope everybody's doing well. Today's been a technical nightmare for me. I'm sitting here drinking the last of the rum right now and plotting the funeral for my dying router.
I can bring a sledgehammer over. Sometimes it feels good to get some of that energy out of it.
I think I'm just going to borrow a trebuchet and see how far I can launch it.
Really? I hate hardware that gives you a hard time. Anything for the net then?
That's about it. It's been a stressful day for me trying to figure all this out. Thought I had it, and then it started flaking out again, so I got a new router on order.
Oh well, sometimes you have to do that. It might just be heat. I don't know about dust buildup on a chip or something, but yeah, sometimes hardware just gets flaky, and the answer is replace it. Just don't want to mess around with it anymore. All right, Ron, appreciate the numbers. You have yourself a good one, and hopefully catch up with you later this week. This is W8VPV, the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club, looking for any last check-ins.
Evening, Frank. WB8YYS, Craig and Kent.
Good evening, Greg. Good to hear you in there. Anything for the net tonight?
Yeah, evening, Frank, and everybody on the net there this evening. Just got off the Hyatt DMR net, so I got a little bit of a break here, and I hopped over here and make sure that somebody's still working here. But just been out enjoying the good weather here the last couple of days, and really been nice. And like a few other folks, hope to get to Dayton next year, so yeah, maybe we'll plan on that as well. But looking forward to seeing everybody at the meeting Wednesday night the Summit County Hearings meets Thursday evening at 6 o'clock at the American Red Cross. And there'll be a demonstration here about APRS and how we use that in amateur radio service. And look forward to the Zoom meeting there for the field day stuff. Got a few things lined up I've been doing, so. That's about all I got, Frank. Everybody get out there and enjoy the good weather. It's been a long time coming, and we'll see everybody Wednesday night. WAPPV. Thanks, Frank. WBAYYS. We'll see you later.
Very good, Greg. Appreciate the numbers, and thanks for making the sign-in. I'm at the bottom of the page. We'll ask once again for any last check-ins, and if not, we'll do the announcements. Give you one more chance to check in, and then wrap this net up. I got to go find an opening on 10 meters here, on 80 meters here. So do we have any last check-ins for the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night, VHF UHF net?
KV8 RWZ. In view of the time, I'll be in and out.
Yeah, it was KB8. What was the suffix and name, please?
KB8 RWZ, Paul.
All right, Paul, I didn't recognize you. It's been a while. Glad to hear you in there. Take care. Have a good one. Catch you down the page. Do we have any other check-ins?
Kilo Echo 8, Oscar Papa Yankee. Dave over here in Farmington. Just in now.
Got you, Dave. Got you in and out. Appreciate that. Have a good one. Any other check-ins?
W03X with a recheck.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I was reading these ARRL field day rules. This is interesting. I'm going to read right from it. If you are claiming 10 transmitters, you need 10 stations capable of operating at the same time. Remember, operating means sending and receiving. Second, you must actually have them on the air simultaneously at least once during the event.
Okay, I think that's been in the rules for some time.
Yeah, I never really read that part, but on the air simultaneously at least once during the event. That'd be a little tricky to verify.
Well, I guess if you look at the logs and you see a series of contacts, pick a point in time, and if you see contacts from, all 4 or 5 stations that are going through that time window, you can assume at some point they were all transmitting. I'm sure they're not talking about transmitting simultaneously. That is, everybody at once has to key down and call CQ. I assume that just means that there's an operator operating that station along with everybody else in there doing their normal transmit receive, whether it's hunt and peck or run station. But I think that's what that means. I don't think they're out there with spectrum analyzers trying to make sure everybody's got a transmitter on at once.
Right. I just thought that was interesting there. So with that, back to the net. This is W03X.
All right, John. Yeah, appreciate that. And never hurts to review the rules because they do change everything now and then. All right, real quickly, our announcements coming up here. This Wednesday, we have our activity meeting. It's at 7:30 at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ at the corner of Broad and 2nd Street. It'll be a Zoom presentation from the Voice of America Museum and a tour of the WC8 VOA amateur radio station, which runs down there now. Should be an interesting one. If we get done early, we'll talk a little bit more about Field Day. Following Wednesday, May 31st, is a Field Day planning meeting. That's at 7 p.m., not 7:30. It's a Zoom meeting. There's a link for it in the club calendar. We're going to be emphasizing GOTA and trying to get as many non-hams and inactive hams on the air as possible. So I'd like to talk, we'll be talking a lot about that by then. Please consider signing up for Field Day, by the way. We have a header on the top of our club webpage that'll take you to a little page explaining it and then an opportunity to sign up. even if you're not going to participate, please go in there and check the box that says, sorry, I can't participate this year. If we don't see you in the list, we are going to call and just reach out and see if you're interested in doing field day at all. Let's see here. Of course, the weekend of, the Wednesday, June 14th is our elections. Let me pause for time here. Wednesday, June 14th is our elections. That's again at 7:30 p.m. That's going to be also a field day meeting, so we've got a lot of important stuff going on there, and we may have a nomination and election for a replacement trustee to fill in the spot for our current trustee who is stepping down. So a lot of opportunities there. We definitely need a quorum, and we'd appreciate you being there. Of course, the weekend of June 24th, 25th is field day weekend. Mark it on your calendar. Make sure you get to it and stand by. I just dropped the page. Landed flat on the floor and I couldn't pick it up. Let's see here. Wednesday, June 28th is our activity meeting for June will be Maria Kostic. She is YU3AWA of Serbia, and she is the Vatican City operator. And as you might know, Vatican City is itself a separate country. That'll, of course, be a Zoom meeting. And finally, we have our band exploration net tonight. It'll be in about 8 minutes on 80 meters at 3.827. Or thereabouts. I'll get that announcement out on this repeater as soon as I find an open spot on the band. So stand by and I'll give you a number there. Anyway, that's all the announcements I have. Do we have any last check-ins? If not, we'll bring this net to a close and move on to band exploration net.
How about a quick recheck? Something really interesting.
Go ahead, Pat.
Just got notified that the ISS is above us. Anybody that is into tracking it like I am. They've got 3 good passes coming tonight. There's three again tomorrow, and that's the first time it's been this close in about 3 or 4 months. So if you're into that, give it a shot. I've hit it a couple times myself. And it'll keep you back to that. Thanks, Frank.
All right, very good, Pat. Appreciate it then. All right, any last check-ins? This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, and in preparing to close this net, I'd like to thank each and every one of you who took the time to join us and check in tonight. Without your participation, there would be no net. This has been Frank, WADCT, and it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, we'll close the net with 25 check-ins, myself included, and return this repeater to normal and customary amateur radio use. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, closing the net at 9:24 p.m. local time. 73 all.
I would say normal as defined by the individual user. WA4WGA. Good day, Frank.
Link off.
Good, Mike. Somewhere I saw a long list of quotes relevant to the aviation industry. Some of them are absolutely hysterical, and some are so truthful and painful it hurts. One of them was, if you find you have to taxi off the field at full power, you may have forgotten to put your wheels down. Yeah, I have another friend who was trying to land and couldn't understand why he couldn't settle down. He was caught on the ground effect, and suddenly it hit him. Oh yeah, and he had enough power to pull up and go around and do it the right way. All right, for anybody who's listening, it looks like 3.827 for a change is actually open tonight. He doesn't look that bad. Let me go ahead and put some RF out there and make sure we've got it, and that's where we'll be holding the net tonight in about 4 minutes. W8 VPV. I'll be QSY to 80 meters.
I'll push the button here because we got lady pharmacist making the rounds. WA4WGA. Were you on that UHF machine during the week? WA4WGA.
Where's the 80 meter net at?
This is W8BPV. We are commencing our club net Monday night. Good evening. Calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night VHF UHF net. My name is Frank. My call is W8EZT. I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchange of amateur-related ideas and information, to enhance net operating practices, and to keep members up to date about club happenings. This net meets here Mondays, every fourth Monday evening at 9:30 p.m. local time, preceded by our VHF UHF net at 8:30, and that is preceded by amateur radio Newsline at 8:01. We'll run through the announcements real quick and then just take check-ins one at a time as opposed to our VHF UHF net. If you're a regular participant participate, I'll recognize you by call sign. If not, please give me your call, repeat it phonetically, followed by your name and location. When all check-ins have been worked, I'll repeat the club announcements and then wrap this meeting up. This is part of our Band Exploration Net series, an opportunity for our local hams to check out their antennas and equipment.
WO3X, KD2HCE.
And we will be doing 80 meters at 3.827 tonight. All right, we pause for a second. Announcements. This Wednesday, May 24th, is our activity meeting at 7:30 p.m. at Pilgrim United Church of Christ, 2nd Street and Broad Boulevard. It'll be a Zoom presentation on the Voice of America Museum and the WC8 VOA amateur radio station. I'm sure everybody will have a good time, so look forward to seeing you in person. And if you can't make it, hopefully you'll be able to catch us on the Zoom meeting. The link for it will be in the club calendar. That's at cfarc.org on the right-hand side of the page, partway down. Wednesday, May 31st is our field day planning meeting. That's at 7 p.m. That is a Zoom meeting. We're going to be emphasizing go-to operations this year. We're going to try to get as many people as possible on the air that are inactive hams or non-hams to get them to feel for what contesting and ham radio is all about. Wednesday, June 14th, of course, we have our officer elections. There's a trustee position open, and then another trustee has stepped down, so we'll have probably a second round of elections if more than one person is nominated for that position. We'll also have a field day discussion. That'll be our last in-person meeting before field day. And speaking of field day, that is the weekend of June 24th and 25th. So please mark your calendar, make sure you're free. We hope to be operating 4 Alpha or 5 Alpha, depending on interest. Again, including a go-to station, which we're currently putting plans together. And we do have a sign-up spot on our webpage. Go right to the very top. It'll say sign up for field day, and please do so. Even if you're not going to operate, please check the box. Sorry, I can't make it. If we don't see you on there, we're going to reach out to you and make sure you're aware of it. Wednesday, June 28th is our activity meeting for June. Maria Kostic, YU3AWA of Serbia, who is the Vatican City operator, will be on, of course, via Zoom. And she'll be explaining the operations. And as I think most people know, Vatican City is itself a separate country. And so that's it. That's all the announcements I have. Looking for check-ins. This is WACTV. Go ahead.
KHMS.
All right, I've got WA3JA3 first. I'm sorry, WJAT, and K8HMS next. Anybody else out there?
AB8OU.
All right, I've got AB8OU. Z. Anybody else? Go ahead,
Kilo Delta 2, Hotel Charlie Echo will be in and out.
The Hotel Charlie Echo station. Give me your full call-in name, please, and we got you in and out. The Hotel Charlie Echo station. Call prefix and your name. We'll let you go. All right, I don't know who that was. We'll just, I got it down as AC. All right, back to the top. Jim, WA3JAT. Go ahead.
Yeah, very good. WATV, WA3JAT. That station was either a WB2 or WD2. I couldn't tell which. I just got the rest of the call. Going back to Dayton, I did see something on the way in that I thought was humorous. I noticed they were giving a license exams at the Presbyterian Church, and I wondered whether that increased the odds of passing the exam, having it in the church. I don't have anything else for you since the 2-meter net, so back to you, W8VTV, WA3JAT.
Very good, very good. Yeah, when they were debating prayer in schools, a teacher was heard commenting, you don't think there's prayer in schools, wait till you see the lead up to my midterm exams. There's a lot of praying going on there. Thanks, Jim. There was another station in there where was somebody else trying to check in. We'll catch you now. All right, nothing heard. We'll move on to
Yeah, WAVPV in the net, KHMS. Hi, Frank. Hi, everybody. Yeah, Frank, you're a little bit down in the noise, but we got a copy on you. And I might be wrong, but that might have been a WD2 station. The stuff prefix you needed, not real sure, though. He was booming in here, though, I'll say that. Other than that, I guess that's about it. I wanted to give you one for the numbers for 80 meters here with my big, long, 60-foot long wire. Back to you, Kate HMS.
All right, very good, Steve. I hear somebody in there. He's really loud. I'm thinking that's my neighbor, Forrest. If that's you, Forrest, go ahead. Okay, he might inadvertently be in duplex mode again, so we'll move on. I got you, Steve. Next up, AB8OU. Go ahead, Zeke.
AB8OU. Good evening again, Frank. You're almost copyable tonight, but nothing else new here. Everyone have a good week, and hope to see everyone at the meeting Wednesday, AB8OU.
Very good, Zeke. Appreciate it. A little bit of noise around here, but we got you well over the noise, so appreciate it, and thanks for checking in. Forrest, this is WADPV. Are you trying to check in? Okay, somebody's throwing a carrier just up the band from you a little bit. I can notch it out, but it's starting to desense me. This is WADPV, the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday Night Band Exploration Net. Do we have any more check-ins?
WO3X, Whiskey Oscar 3 X-Ray.
Kilo Delta 2, Hotel Charlie Echo.
Okay, I got a Hotel Charlie Echo station. Stand by, John. The Hotel Charlie Echo. What is your call prefix, please?
Go ahead, Chris.
John, I don't hear NCS. If you just give me in and out, it'd be appreciated. I hear you, I hear AB8MO, and I hear MU, the other AB8 station and the other station, but I don't hear net control. He's right at my noise, so if you can put me in and out, it'd be appreciated.
Okay, Chris. Frank, that's Chris, KD8 HCE. KD8 HCE, Chris in Medina.
2.
Yeah. KD2 HCE, Chris in Medina.
All right, please let him know I got him in there, and he's coming in loud and clear here. Apologize for not being able to get a signal out. I'm vertically polarized tonight, so that may be the problem.
Okay, he got you, Chris. He's vertically polarized, so maybe that's why you're not hearing him. He's hearing you loud and clear, though.
Oh, I'm a sloper. Invite him to the weekend UST net. Invite everybody to that. That's a free for everybody on 80 and 40 on the UST net. If they want to stop by 40 on my net tomorrow, they can get more information. But invite everybody if you can. KD28CE, back to net.
All right, John, if you want to go ahead and do that invite, go ahead and put it out now.
Hey, Chris, go ahead. We're hearing you pretty good here. Go ahead with that invite.
Well, I hate to be an alligator station, but my noise is 10 over. I got somebody in the neighborhood with something, and it's not here. I actually turned the house off earlier, turned the generator off, turned the mains off, shut all the computers down, and ran my radio on a 1290 battery, and it was still noisy. So it wasn't here. But I'm member number 2 of the United States Traffic Net, and we have a Memorial Day weekend award coming up. You don't have to be a member to participate in this award, but you have to work 10 member veteran stations between Friday and Tuesday. We have 40-meter and 80-meter nets during that time. Friday, we have a 40 and an 80. Saturday, we have an 80. On Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, we have 40-meter nets. And all you have to do is participate in the net. We use NetLogger, so you can find out what frequency we're on. Otherwise, you can go to netlogger.org and find out the frequency we have. If you don't use NetLogger, you can get all the information on my QRZ on how to get there if you forget how to. But the website is usawards.net. 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 It's a Worked All States and Awards net, but it's a promo for Memorial Day weekend that non-members can work for this award. So with that, if you are a member, John's a member, and a few other stations in the area are members, but just wanted to throw that out there. You can get a nice little e-award there you can print out for yourself. KD2HCE, back to net.
All right, very good. We got that, and John, if you can relay that to Chris, I'd appreciate it.
Chris, Frank says he got that, so thanks for doing that, Chris, and yeah, I'll probably give that a shot, see if I can get 10 contacts with member veterans. So with that, this is WO3X, back to the net.
On NetLogger, they'll have a military designation in NetLogger, so you'll know who to call. So with that, KD2HCE clear.
All right, very good then. This is the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night, a band exploration night, looking for any more check-ins.
November 8th, America, Charlie, Papa.
All right, KD8YAX, we got you for us. Anything for the net? Okay, well, you're coming through loud and clear now, so we got you checked in, and maybe one of these days I can look at your gear. Were you able to raise the repeater? Okay, you might be out of simplex mode or something. If maybe I can figure something out for you. Well, I'll have to experiment around a little bit. But we got you checked in on the HF net. You're sounding good. Of course, you're right next to me, so of course you are. All right, thanks, Forrest. Appreciate it. You have yourself a good evening and a good Memorial Day. Yes, that's right. That is this Wednesday. Yes, I will be picking you up for the meeting about 6:15. All right, this is W8DPV looking for any more check-ins.
November 8th, America, Charlie, Papa.
N8ACP. Chris, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, roger. No traffic, just wanted to check in. One for the numbers. N8ACP.
All right, a little bit noisy here, but you're above the noise, and a full copy on you, so no problem at all. Appreciate the numbers, Chris. Have yourself a great week and a great weekend. W8DPV looking for any check-ins. Is Pat trying to check in by any chance? N8OQP? All right, I'm not hearing anything right now. I go ahead and do the announcements. We'll listen once more for check-ins and then wrap this up, close this down, and I'll get the trash done tonight. It is trash night for me. Wednesday, May 24th, our activity meeting. That's this Wednesday, is at 7:30 p.m. It'll be a Zoom presentation on the Voice of America Museum and WC8VOA, the Voice of America amateur radio station. Fascinating place. I used to listen to VOA stations all around my shortwave radio, and unfortunately I'm afraid a lot of them have gone by the wayside, and these days in internet misinformation, that's one way to get the information out. Anyway, the following Wednesday, May 31st, we'll have a field day planning meeting. That will be a Zoom meeting at 7 p.m. We'll be emphasizing get on the air this year, so we want inactive hams and non-licensed people to get used to operating. Some way somewhat contest-like mode, one side or one aspect of amateur radio. On Wednesday, June 14th, we'll have our business meeting. That'll be 7:30 p.m. at United Church of Pilgrim United Church of Christ again, 2nd and Broad Boulevard. That'll be covering both elections, officer and trustee elections, and also field day planning. That'll be the last in-person meeting before field day, and it's coming up fast. Of course, the weekend of June 24th, 25th is field day. Mark your calendar. Make sure you're available, and please go to our club website and sign up to volunteer at field day. We want to see you out there. We want you to have a good time. Wednesday, June 28th will be our June activity meeting. It's Maria Kostic, YU3AWA of Serbia. She is the Vatican City operator, and of course, as you know, Vatican City is a separate country for that purposes. So that should be an interesting one also. All right, that's the last of the announcements I have. Do we have any last check-ins on 80 meters? This is W8VPV.
W8VPV, please copy. Kilo Bravo 8, Romeo Whiskey Zulu.
I think I heard Paul in there. I thought I heard Romeo Whiskey Zulu. Is that you, Paul?
Affirmative. This is KB8RWZ. Yeah, I'm probably not getting into you. We're both in kind of a odd spot. KB8RWZ.
All right, Paul, you're right at the noise level, but I got you in here in the log. Appreciate it, and take care of yourself, and hope to catch you down the page then. Appreciate the check-in. Do we have any other check-ins? Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and wind the net up. All right. In preparing to close this net, I'd like to thank each and every one of you who took the time to join us and check in tonight. Without your participation, there would be no net. This has been Frank. My call is W8EZT, and it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, we'll close the net with 9 check-ins, myself included, and return this frequency to normal and customary amateur radio use. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, closing the net at 9:48 p.m. with 9 check-ins. 73, everyone.
All right, that's pretty good. 9 check-ins. This is WO3X.
No complaints here, and that's especially after Dayton. And usually, at least for me, I'd get home from Dayton sometime Monday, and I'd just be staggering. I'd be just stunned out of sleep. So great to hear so many check-ins. All right, thanks, John. We'll talk to you Wednesday. Have a good one. W8EZT, I'll be clear.
WO3X clear.
W8VPV. Repeater.
Turning the beam. Delta 2 Hotel Charlie Echo, Chris and Medina. That should be better. King David, number 2. His children endure. How's that? Yes, I was. Well, let me start. No, and yes, yes. It's Kilo Delta, and I've been here all along. When I got licensed in 14, I was heading back. So because I was heading back, I got the 2 call, and about 6 months after I got my license, we decided not to go back. So we kept the 2 call and stayed here and changed the address from. Actually, let me do this. I got licensed here with a New York address. That's how it worked. So then after 6 months, I didn't move back, and I just moved the address to here. So that's how that was going. So it was kind of thinking ahead, but it wasn't the right thought ahead. How's that? Yes. Yeah, I'm about a mile behind Medina Hospital. Setup's over here. I'm permanent. I transplanted the XYL from New York to here, and it's all good. Actually, it comes and goes. It's kind of tidal. We were back in April, so it's a little more prevalent right now because it's only a month out. But when I'm not there for a year, it fades away again. I've been here since we moved. My previous family and I moved out here 3 weeks before September 11th. So I'm kind of more. If I'm excited, it'll show. If I'm upset, it'll show. But if I'm just speaking normal and I'm not tired, I'll blend in a lot better. So KD2HCE for ID.
the funniest story was I was doing field service for a third party. If you remember, there was a company called the Great A&PT Company. Well, you had Tops and Giant Eagle. Well, I worked for a company out of Canada called Systech, and they did IBM repairs on IBM equipment for IBM computer systems in the A&P chain, which was Food Emporium. They were up and down the East Coast with like 5 different brands, Wallbaums. We had 3 in the New York area. It was Food Emporium, Wallbaums, and A&P. And then it was Food Lion, I think. They were down the East Coast. And there was another name that there were 5 brands altogether. But short story short, the company was based in Mississauga, Ontario, but dispatch was in Montreal. Now, I speak French, Parisian French, and Quebecois French. I speak both dialects. So I would call up dispatch, being in the Bronx, with a Bronx accent. Then all of a sudden, I'd speak Quebecois, perfect influence, perfect inflection and accent, and then I'd throw the Bronx accent on the Quebecois, and I'd have them hysterical laughing because I didn't have to do that, but I could. It was just funny. So back to you. Again, what's the call sign over there? I know it's got an Oscar in it, but again, I have craft. I'm over 60, so CRS happens when you're 30, 35, but when you hit 60, you get CRAFT, and you all know what that stands for. So once again, your call sign and name so I can pencil it in. Mike, Chris here. Yeah, you probably heard me on the 3.9 on the beacon nets and all of that. I actually took over the HF beacon net on 80, that frequency, and I run an 80-meter UST net on that same frequency because there was a vacancy on the band, so we jumped on it. So finding an open space on the band plan is kind of hard to do. So when Andy vacated there, so we just stepped up and stepped in when they stepped out. So it was all good for everybody involved. So I run the 80-meter UST net on Friday nights, and I run the 40-meter Tuesday night net. So you can stop by there and say hi to if you have both bands. We'd like you to stop by. I don't know. You look familiar. I don't know if you've checked into the UST nets. You do have a familiar call sign. One of these days I'll understand what that is. For some reason, way back when in high school, there was a Drake TR4C, not a CW, TR4C transceiver, and an LX4B with a Mosley 36 on the roof of my homeroom on a 40-foot tower. And he was in advance, my homeroom teacher, and he gave me the X-ray exam, and I passed it, the written exam. And then he's like, well, let's learn code. And I'm like, nope. Why? It don't work. There's a network failure between my ear, my eye, and my hand. It's just not happening. So I had to wait till 2014 to somebody have convinced me that there's no code, you can do it. Well, I did. I missed the extra exam by 4 when I didn't even study for it. Because he gave it to me in high school, I remembered it. I remember that stuff, but not today. So I was going to get my general, and I got it. So I see you're advanced, so you understand where I was at back then. Yeah, I see you have a Heath kit there. I have that a little bit later tuner. I have a 2060 tuner here, not the A, the plain. And I'm using that for one of my wire antennas, but I have a whole 10-tech kit and caboodle kit. I have 2 transceivers, one works, one half works. It either transmits or receives, I don't know. I haven't played with it yet. But the VFO, the power supply, the speaker, the tuner, the E, the whole kit and caboodle kit. And one of my old landlord had a tenant that left it, so he wants me to sell it for him. So I got to figure out who wants to buy that. He wants a decent figure for it, but it's still going to be a fair price. So I got to find somebody who's interested in a kit and caboodle kit. But yeah, you
repeater timeout. You time repeater out.
Well, he'll I got to get used to your timeout. Short story short, old landlord had a tenant that left it behind, and he wants to get paid for his left behind rent. So it's going to be a fair price, but it's a whole 10-tech system, complete. Two transceivers, one works, one half works. Either transmit or receive is bad. The tuner, the power supply, the VFO, the whole kit and caboodle kit, and he probably wants like five or 600 for the whole thing, for a backup radio too. It's a parts radio, so I got to find out who wants it. It's the complete system. It's in decent shape. It's a non-smoker, a decent shape, and it's 2 transceivers. One works. One doesn't work in one mode. It either transmits or receives, but one does. So you have a parts radio for the original, but you have a VFO, you got the tuner, and you got the power supply speaker. So it's the whole system. So it's somebody who wants a 10-tech system who's going to want a 10-tech system, but for the whole kit and caboodle kit, that's where it's coming down. You have every piece, so that's the cool part about it. So yeah, with everything in there, that's why he wants what he wants for it. He's trying to get back some missing rent, so that's why what he wants. Okay, Mike, I got to go on. I got to make a phone call to New Jersey. Our actual founder of IronNet is calling me, so I got to call him back. So again, if you're on 40 meters and you have 40 meters, 6:30 tomorrow night, pop by, 7.189 give or take. Net logger, if you have net logger. If not, if you don't have net logger, it's a good tool. It really is, comes in handy. Even the beacon net uses it, so you can follow along there. It's useful in a lot of ways. There's also K3CLR. If you have an Android phone, there's a thing called Net Scraper. It lets you view what's on net logger. It doesn't let you participate, but lets you view. It lets you be a fly on the wall, per se, and see what's going on the net without actually being on the net in NetLogger. So you can find out what frequencies things are on and follow along, but again, you can't participate. So it's another tool. So with that, Mike, we'll give you 7-3. We'll be clear on your final. I'm on the QS router.
Repeater, timeout. U, time, repeater, out.
How long did the alligator bite me the last time? Okay, see, the old dog can learn a new trick. All right, take care, Mike. KD2AC, clear.
W8VPV. Repeater, PL110.9. W8VPV. Repeater. W8VPV. Repeater. W8WKY.